as you just said, you're very confident, in your guys' chance of winning tonight.
Check.
Were you even surprised that you just so thoroughly beat, Georgetown?
No.
So let's head to the corner of Main and Vine and join our host, Greg Burton.
Well, there's no stupid questions, but that's a pretty silly one.
I try to stay away from the silly questions. I'm getting better, I think.
I know you are.
You
absolutely are. Absolutely.
Greg Burton, Robbie Robinson kicking off the Shaka Smart Radio Show live from Home Team Grill on the Fan on ESPN 950. You're getting the slow clap going.
Just a little slow clap. Absolutely.
Yeah, right?
Exactly.
Like those 1980s movies?
Like Lucas.
Luke. Wow.
It's the originator, I think, of the slow clap would be Lucas.
Oh, man.
And if you are over the age of 34, 5, you might know what I'm talking about. If you're under the age of 35, you've got no idea.
Well, we're not used to slow claps. Nothing but fast claps at the Siegel Center.
Lots of fast claps.
A lot of it last night. 76-60 win over Fordham. A game where, VCU, they took care of business.
It was a workmanlike effort for the Rams, and Mike Lito said it perfectly last night. It's a team that you don't usually associate workmanlike efforts. I mean, the Rams are Ferraris. They're you don't think of the Rams as a Tundra, but last night they were a Tundra, and they pulled away. They led by 17 at the break. Fordham cut it to 11 a couple times. I think that was the closest. Maybe got it to 10. I don't remember exactly. But every time the Rams had an answer. And in a game like that is sandwiched between two tough road games, of which the Rams won, and then this marquee game that will happen at 11 o'clock on Saturday morning, to not let that team, Fordham, get back into single digits and to eventually get it to 22-24, of which, once again, much like the Dayton game and some previous games, it's a 20-point game, but Coach substitutes liberally at the end of the games. He gets guys like, it's kind of the guys at the little part at the end of the bench.
Sure.
And it gets cut to what ended up being a 16-point win. But if you look at it, you think about it, when you compare teams, and we like to compare how good is this team as compared to last year, because, Greg, we know what last year's team did. Last year's team had a phenomenal year. Last year's team went to the NCAA tournament. Last year's team went to the finals of the A-10. So when you think about, how good is this team compared to last year? Well, last year VCU beat Fordham by 16 points. Troy Daniels had 29 points. He had 7 threes. They didn't have John Sevier, who's one of the best scorers in the country. So now the Rams, again, win by 16 points. And I think you could say, you know what? Who knows how it's going to end at the end of the year? But as of this moment, right now, in comparison, we are on the right track. And that's what last night was, with a 16-point win. And it was a great, great gearing up for what will be, I'm sure, an outstanding atmosphere on Saturday.
Well, I'll ask you about this, because Coach won't want to focus on this. 17-4, the best start for VCU under Shaka Smart.
The best start in 10 years. And again, this is not 17-4 with 15 games in the non-conference against teams that are 250 RPI. This is 17-4 against 4 ACC teams, a Big East team in Georgetown, road trips to Belmont, road trips to Northern Iowa, another top 100 team, Illinois State, coming here and getting thumped, and then starting your very tough on the road, I guess, 3 out of the first 6 games, if I'm right, on the road in the A-10. Yeah, 17-4. So you take, anything that you want to talk about the way the Rams season is, if you're not saying they're really playing well, you're wrong. They're 17-4 right now, and there's probably 320 college basketball programs that would change it in a heartbeat to get to that 17-4 mark. And so, yes, of all the wins, and he is, Craig, I think last night, going off the air, we always say what his now overall record is. He is like 86 games above 500. 86 games above 5. And I do every game, I do the opposing coach's career record, and I do coach's career record. And a lot of the opposing coaches hovering around 500, and maybe a couple games over 500. He's 86 games over 500. Coach Smart is. That is remarkable. And I guess at this point, I'm not going to get this right, but he's like 10 or 11 wins away from being the all-time winningest head basketball coach in VCU history.
That's going to happen this year.
It very well may happen this year.
Wow.
He could eclipse Sonny Smith's mark, which, by the way, it took great Sonny Smith 9 years to get there, and he was a great coach and had a lot of success. Coach Smart could very well do it under 5 years.
Man, that's remarkable.
It blows your mind.
The Rams are 5-1 in the A-10, tied for second with GW. Of course, St. Louis 6-0 after they beat Richmond last night. The Spiders come to the Siegel Center, and it's an 11 a.m. start. And we really want to encourage folks to get in their seats early, because this is a little strange. Obviously, 11 a.m. start. We've had many, many noon starts, but really want folks to see it's a nationally televised game. All that the Siegel Center is like there from the moment folks walk into the building.
2 parts to this answer, I think. Part A, I think we've established ourselves nationally. I really do. I think people coast to coast know our school, know our brand, know our coach, know our players. I don't feel like maybe 4 or 5 years ago we were always looking for that critical key to try to get more exposure, whatever that may be.
Sure.
We still want to do that. Don't get me wrong. When we talk about things externally, we still want to do that. But to trying to go all out because we want every single person in America to know about VCU basketball. If you're a basketball fan, you're going to know about VCU basketball. We've established that over the last 4 years under Coach Smart. However, you're always wanting to reach those extra people. You are. And I think it's so important for our fans to be there early on Saturday for a couple reasons. First of all, we want that place rocking when the ball goes in the air at 11 o'clock. We don't want you to get seated at 11 o'clock because from 11 to noon, how often in any program, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, do you have all of America's sports to yourself? And that's what the Rams are going to have on Saturday from 11 to noon. Now, noon games are going to start on the Big Ten Network and CBS Sports Network and all those different college networks. But we are going to be the sole occupant of sports in America from 11 to noon. And I think it would be great if our fans have that pregame atmosphere like we had against Butler. There was something about that Butler game that people got out of their cars in the parking lot that were fired up.
Yeah,
and by the time our team took the floor at the 4-minute mark, it was a 4-minute mark countdown. It was on. I'll remember it, and I've talked about it probably ad nauseum. But it'd be great to have that same atmosphere so we can show all of America and all of those that are going to be producing the game for ESPN. And the ESPN people are going to be watching it because there's no other games on.
Right.
Just how fired up and how great of a crowd. They've heard about it, but how great of a crowd we really have.
Great stuff. It's going to be a great atmosphere on Saturday. Robbie, thanks so much. We'll see you Saturday morning, bud.
Real quick.
Oh, yeah.
No, just real quick. Couple quick things, like 3 things real quick, if you let me, and then we'll get going because Coach just got here. Number 1, it's going to be a blackout. We talked about that. So please put on your black T-shirts if you're coming.
Yes.
Spend a little money on the black T-shirts. We'd love for you to wear them, which would be good. It'll look great on TV. 2, we're also going to have the cancer cards, the Wreak Havoc on Cancer cards. When you get to your seat, ideally, you will be able to get this card. There will be a pen, and you'll write someone's name in your life that's been affected by cancer. We're going to have hopefully a real poignant moment pregame where we hold up a sign. It says Wreak Havoc on Cancer, and we really want it to be a great moment. And finally, want to wish happy birthday to Dr. Jim Wallace, who's here. Dr. Wallace, tomorrow's your birthday. Comes out all the time to these shows.
That's
He's
awesome.
one of the great VCU Ram fans. He's a phenomenal person. He's got a great family back there, and he turns 36 tomorrow, which is just fantastic. And happy birthday to you. So we appreciate that.
Well played.
And I'm done.
Well played. All right, quick timeout. We'll come back right here. The Shaka Smart Radio Show live from Home Team Grill and the Fan on ESPN 950.
At Walgreens. To give anything less than your best is to sacrifice your gift. Do you have the propensity to be motivated from within? That's my version of making it real.
Here you go, Joey. You received your VCU alumni discount.
Rodney, you ready for the big game tonight?
Oh, I'm sorry, Rodney. The discount's only for VCU alumni members.
Man, it's all right. Let's go blow off some steam at the gym. Come on. Keep pushing, Rodney. I need one more rep from you. There you go.
Hey, you with the horns. Do you have your VCU alumni membership? Ram Nation, don't let this happen to you. Join VCU alumni today.
Look closely. Do you see a classroom? A lab? A studio? We do. At Virginia Commonwealth University, learning happens everywhere. Where will you make it real?
While Campbell was discovering what she wants to be when she grows up, Nurse Kathy was discovering ways to make sure leukemia never keeps her from being a kid. Children's Hospital of Richmond at VCU, discovering the best care for kids.
And I'm judged, obviously, in the media by wins and losses. I understand that, but that's not my number one goal. My number one goal is to help our guys be the best they can be. And by the time they get out of here, really realize the potential that they have. If we do that with each one of our players, then winning's going to take care of itself. That's how I make it real. All right, what's next?
At Virginia Commonwealth University, research happens everywhere. From classrooms without walls to a campus without borders. All you have to do is jump in. VCU. Make it real.
VCU stand up. You don't want to go to war with the Rams. Join a group bigger than the Wu-Tang Clan. VCU alumni is key to victory. Gold has more benefits than Richmond has history. $25 is all it takes. Represent the Rams across the states. Discounts, pride, the benefits are stacked. Rolling with the Peppers, yeah, that's where it's at. Membership, that's the move. Build a Ram Nation, it's up to you.
Of your VCU Rams, Shaka Smart. How are you, Coach?
I'm great. How are you, Greg?
We're doing fantastic, and the Rams keep rolling along, 17-4, 5-1 after last night's 16-point win over Fordham.
Yes, we are.
Talk about last night. Obviously, last night seemed like the kind of effort where you took care of business.
Yeah, we did. I mean, it was a game that, I guess in retrospect, coming off of a big week on the road where we won a couple tough road games, and then, a game that's in between those games and Saturday's game against Richmond, which is always a big deal around here. That was one that was important where we had a level of focus and we did what we needed to do. I think you put it in a good way. We took care of business.
Those of us in the media call those trap games. Is that a term that you ever use? Are you aware of kind of that dynamic you just explained?
I don't use that word, but guys that I've worked for have, and that's words are words. But you're exactly right. I mean, it's a game that it can be a trap if you don't look at it the right way and if you don't approach the game with a level of seriousness. Fordham, for instance, has a terrific perimeter players. They've got a lot of guys that can put the ball in the basket, a lot of guys that can shoot threes. I'm proud of the way our guys defended their top two scorers.
Yeah, no doubt.
Sevier and Frazier both were held in single digits.
Yeah, that was remarkable. And they seemed frustrated early because they're used to getting off a lot of shots. They weren't even getting a lot of touches.
Well, we just wanted to make things difficult for them in terms of getting shots off, and we knew they were going to get some up, obviously, but we wanted them to shoot a low percentage, and both of those guys did.
The defense was there, and then the offense took a little while, but ended up get going, especially in the second half.
Yeah, I think there was a little frustration on the part of a few of our guys in the first half that the game wasn't going better for them individually on the offensive end. And it happens to us, more so at home really than on the road. But you can't plan out the game exactly how it's going to go and how your individual game is going to go. You can't sit in your room and think about the 5 threes you're going to hit in the first half or the steal and dunk you're going to get. I mean, if those things come, you want to be ready to take advantage. But, you really need to focus on controlling the things you control.
Mel finished with 13 last night, and you talked a lot about him this morning during a media session, just about, what you expect from him, his role, and what you want to see him do on the floor night in and night out.
Well, Mel's making a lot of progress. I mean, we got to remember he's only a sophomore. He's a guy that I think has come a long way since he got here. He's improved on the defensive end, much improved from where he was, and still has to continue to make progress. Offensively, he's a phenomenal shooter, and we want to get him as many outside looks as we can. No different really than the way we wanted to get looks for Troy Daniels. Troy, it took him a little bit longer to get going until his junior and senior year. But, Melvin's a guy that he has a lot of talent. He's just got to continue to learn how to take advantage of his talent in the best way.
You said specifically you want him to take more threes than twos. That you look at the stats and the numbers, and it suggests that you want him to take more threes.
Well, he can take some good twos, obviously, with some of his floaters, good floaters, and obviously layups around the basket. But percentage-wise, he's a better shooter from three, and so I'm not, different than any other coaches. I want guys to take high percentage shots.
Right. You also talked about kind of the totem pole when it comes to shots, because we're going to talk about LaSalle here in a bit, but I think that's important to know that you're well aware. We got to get the ball to Trey. We're going to get the ball to Javante. They're at the top of your totem pole.
Yeah, I mean, those are our best players. Those are our best offensive players, and those are guys that have the best opportunity to go get high-quality shots for our team and to put the ball in the basket, and also to get fouled, which is another way to score. So, Travion Graham, Javante Riddick, for them to assert themselves and in a 50-minute game at LaSalle get 40 field goal attempts between the two of them, that was a great sign. In that game, we went back and counted. We called 24 plays for Trey. So sometimes people ask, are you calling stuff to get him the ball? Yes, we are. 24 times in that game, and it paid off.
You had an animated discussion last night with Rob Brandenburg late in the second half. I know you discussed it in the post game, but talk a little bit about that, because there was a lot of positive emotion going on there.
Yeah, that's one way to put it, Greg. Rob and I have a great relationship, so he can say whatever he needs to say to me, and I can say whatever I need to say to him. And we've spent a lot of time together over the years, and particularly this year, there's been a lot of off-the-court time that we've spent just focusing on him continuing to move forward, just in his approach and his awareness, his alertness, his ability to stay in the present moment. And, I was just giving him a little bit of a reminder of what he needed to do, and I thought he did a great job of doing that.
What he needed to do and what he can do, because you always are so, what a player's potential is capable of.
The guy is like he's like a cheetah, which is one of my favorite animals. He has unbelievable bursts of athleticism, quickness, speed that I don't care who you are. Nobody's faster, quicker, more explosive than Rob when he's at his best. But he's got to be aggressive, and he's got to be aware and alert of what's going on right now in this moment. Sometimes if he's focused on the last shot that he missed, or a last play that didn't go his way, or what he wants to happen down the road, then he stops being a cheetah.
Well, then let's make that as the segue to LaSalle, because, of course, Trey and Drew are the headlines, but you don't get in that position to beat LaSalle if it's not for Rob's two big threes there late when he hadn't really been consistent. But, boy, he knocks down two monster shots there for
the thing about him is he's got a lot of guts, in those situations to continue to take shots. And, I think guys did a good job getting him shots. The first three he hit in double overtime was created by one of those plays we called for Travion Graham. Rob's man helped, and Trey made the right pass, the right read, which we're always on our guys about. Found Rob in the corner. Rob knocked down the three, and then the next possession back down, he made another one. So it's the old cliche in sports. Guys always say, "Hey, I want to thank my teammates, and I wouldn't be here without those guys." It's true, though. I mean, it really is true that those guys, you make the people around you better, and they make you better, and that's how you become a good team.
How would you describe that win at LaSalle?
Oh, it was tiring. It's kind of like
were you
the guys on PTI say use one word. It was at the end of the game. Yeah, when we went back down in the locker room, I remember sitting down and just kind of taking a deep breath. It was an intense game, and it was one that we were just trying to really convince the guys in the second half just to hang in there and stay together. And we're right where we need to be if we can continue to just follow the process. And a couple things hadn't gone our way. We had some turnovers that caused some guys to drop their head a little bit. But I thought our older guys did a great job of keeping us in there and battling and understanding that we could do it.
Did you feel really good once you forced it into overtime? I mean, obviously they're getting...
Oh, great, yeah. Every time a game goes into overtime now, any game, it could be something I'm watching on TV or one of our games, any game, I think about Will Wade. And Will Wade has this, it's his big deal. I mean, he's got a lot of things that he really believes in, but he says the team that forces overtime is going to win 70% of the time. So, and that's only 7 out of 10, but that makes you feel pretty good. So we were the ones that were behind and came back, and Trey, made a big play, and and we were able to force overtime. So felt like we had a 70% chance to win at that point, according to Will.
Yeah, and we're happy for Will. Things are going good for him down there at Chattanooga.
Good.
Man. Very good. Excellent.
He's won 10 in a row, Greg.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I thought we don't talk about winning streaks.
That's for other guys.
Right.
No, he's doing terrific, and I'm so happy for him because, early in the year, they were going through the typical things you go through when there's a coaching change, and the guys are getting to know the staff, and the staff is getting to know the guys, and now they've really hit their stride, and they hit it at a perfect time because they're undefeated in conference play, and I'm just so proud of him because the way he's handling it is the way we knew he would, is with humility and wanting to continue to get better. His future's really bright.
Just last thought on the LaSalle game. You said you called 24 plays for Trey, and down the stretch there, we're just calling his number. Is there ever a situation where you're not going to call it?
Well, Trey gets run down. He gets a little tired sometimes in games. Javonte can just play. I mean, Javonte he's been blessed with a body where he can just really, really play. Plus, he has a better ability to coast at certain times than Trey and Bree. But, I was a little concerned with Trey because he looked like he had labored, I think would be as a term, just to get us in that position. But it was working for us, and I kept asking him, you need a break, and he's I'm good. So, we kept going to him.
Well, I know we talk a lot about how good VCU is at home, but to win those 2 games on the road, and we were looking this up, VCU is one of just 2 teams in the nation that has 4 true road wins against teams 80 RPI or better. The other's Michigan. And, I mean, that's impressive.
Yeah, well, I think it says a lot about our guys being able to go into tough environments and play good basketball. And hey, in none of those games did we play perfect. You don't have to play a perfect game to win. Basketball is a game of mistakes. Both teams are going to make their share of mistakes. I think the really good road teams are the teams that are able to respond when something doesn't go their way and not flip out when the fans are going crazy and the other school's band's going nuts and all that stuff. And that's what we want to do to other teams when we're at home. We want them to kind of lose it a little bit, and and a lot of good teams don't do that, and that's why you got to wear them down over the course of 40 minutes and find a way to win. But on the road, I think our guys have done a good job hanging in there.
Yeah, a coach told me a long time ago, and I just always repeat it, that good teams can make mistakes and still win. They kind of overcome their mistakes, whether it's through hustle or making other opportunities. Do you believe that if, say, free throws aren't falling or you're turning the ball over, you can still overcome that and win?
Well, Pat Riley, when he was coaching, I believe when he was with the Miami Heat, he had this formula, and there was like 50 different kinds of mistakes you could make in basketball. So it was a missed block out. It was all stuff you controlled. So it wasn't a missed shot, but it was a missed block out. Maybe you missed your assignment in transition defense, but it was very, very specific. And so he would have his staff chart those mistakes, and he had a given number that he felt like his team could make per game and still have a great chance to win. Obviously, it wasn't 100% foolproof, but if they made less than that many mistakes, and it was over 100, then they were going to have a great chance to win. If they made more than that many mistakes, now their chances of winning were drastically reduced with each mistake. And I thought that was really interesting because what it shows is even at the NBA level, at the highest level, teams over the course of a game are making literally over 100 mistakes, still have a chance to win the game if they can control the things that they control otherwise.
But not miss shots, and because a lot of people make a fuss over missed free throws. I don't think they ever consider that the other team's missing free throws as well. Is that a stat you ever look at? I know you look deep into the stat sheet. Like, you like to separate offensive and defensive rebounds. You think they're two separate things.
Yeah, I think with free throws, Greg, it's one of those things that it's kind of like being an official. It's a thankless job because when you go step up to the line and make them, like we did against Fordham last night, nobody really talks about it. nothing against you, but you didn't say anything about you guys are 21 and 23 from the line. But if you have a poor night, then it's brought up and it's talked about, and all you can do is work on free throws and try to get the best you can at it. Javante Reddick every day is working at his free throws. Did it again after practice today with Jeremy Ballard. So the things that you don't have full control over, like the result of a shot, I don't really include that in mistakes, quote unquote.
Right. Great stuff here. Let's take a timeout. We'll come back and talk about what lies ahead for VCU, including a nationally televised game with a captive nationally televised audience at 11 a.m. start coming up on Saturday. You're listening to the Shaka Smart Radio Show live from Home Team Grill on the Fan on ESPN 950.
Hi, I'm Miner Harefield of Miners Fences Incorporated.
I research and collect quotes. Those provide me with motivation, inspiration. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. John Keats said that. To grow, you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. To give anything less than your best is to sacrifice your gift. Do you have the propensity to be motivated from within? That's my version of making it real.
Here you go, Joey. You received your VCU alumni discount.
Rodney, you ready for the big game tonight?
Oh, I'm sorry, Rodney. The discount's only for VCU alumni members.
Man, it's all right. Let's go blow off some steam at the gym. Come on. Keep pushing, Rodney. I need one more rep from you. There you go.
Hey, you with the horns. Do you have your VCU alumni membership? Ram Nation, don't let this happen to you. Join VCU alumni today.
Look closely. Do you see a classroom? A lab? A studio? We do. At Virginia Commonwealth University, learning happens everywhere. Where will you make it real?
While Campbell was discovering what she wants to be when she grows up, Nurse Kathy was discovering ways to make sure leukemia never keeps her from being a kid. Children's Hospital of Richmond at VCU, discovering the best care for kids.
And I'm judged, obviously, in the media by wins and losses. I understand that, but that's not my number one goal. My number one goal is to help our guys be the best they can be, and by the time they get out of here, really realize the potential that they have. If we do that with each one of our players, then winning's going to take care of itself. That's how I make it real. All right, what's next?
At Virginia Commonwealth University, research happens everywhere. From classrooms without walls to a campus without borders. All you have to do is jump in. VCU, make it real.
VCU stand up. You don't wanna go to war with the Rams. Join a group bigger than the Wu-Tang Clan. VCU alumni is key to victory. Gold has more benefits than Richmond has history. $25 is all it takes. Represent the Rams across the states. Discounts, pride, the benefits are stacked. Rolling with the Peppers, yeah, that's where it's at. Membership, that's the move. Build a Ram Nation, it's up to you.
So let's head back inside for more.
Great to have you with us here at Home Team Grill and the Fan, the Shaka Smart Radio Show. And on Saturday. We're going to talk about sort of the matchup, but we cannot encourage folks enough to just get to the Siegel Center early, set the alarm clock, whatever, make the coffee go off early, however you get up in the morning. We want that place packed at tip-off.
Before tip-off.
Before tip-off.
And let me let the fans in on a little secret. There's going to be a friend of ours that's attending the game on Saturday. And this friend of ours has an interest in really evaluating what is VCU's crowd all about. And this friend of ours happens to work at a network that has 4 letters that has a program called College Game Day. So that's all I'll say, but let's really show this friend what we're all about. Both in terms of our atmosphere, our fans, the way we go about things. I know the band's going to be off the hook, and then obviously our team.
Yeah, you sound a little bit like the Godfather there, a friend of ours.
No.
I like that. No, I like it. That's a sign of respect.
Yeah. She is a friend of mine, but she's coming to the game, which we really appreciate, and just look forward to showing her what we do at VCU.
We're going to ask a couple questions that we got off of Twitter. You can use the hashtag SmartShow. We got one that asked, and I kind of like this. Last night you had some balanced scoring. Mel led the way with 13. LaSalle, you had 2 guys kind of carrying the load. Do you ever, have a preference? Do you ever have in your mind this is going to be a balanced night, or this could be a big night for 1 or 2 guys? Do you have a preference? Does it matter?
I wish you had that much control as a coach,
right?
Greg, but it doesn't really work that way. We know that Trey and Javante are capable, if things go right, of scoring a lot of points. I think Melvin is moving in that direction. Hopefully, by the end of this year and certainly his junior and senior year, he's going to have some really, really big nights in terms of scoring. But certain things are going to affect how many points those guys get on a given night. Obviously, double teams, the way a defense guards you, whether they play zone, foul trouble, those sorts of things. So you need other guys to step up and help you and contribute. I think, a guy like Jaquan Lewis can come off the bench and be a big-time spark in terms of putting the ball in the basket. Bree's a guy that, even though we don't necessarily need him to shoot the ball a lot, he's good at getting fouled, can get to the foul line. Against LaSalle the other day, I think he was 7 for 8 from the line. And so you can kind of piece it together that way with different guys scoring.
You brought up Bree. He is 3 steals away from setting the school record for career steals. Rolando Lamb's record has stood for 29 years. Took him about 120 games to do it. Bree's, I think, up to 90 or 91.
Yeah, it's impressive. I think, first of all, Rolando Lamb, one of the all-time greats at VCU. And, I think just to have an appreciation for a guy like that, whose record Bree, will break here soon. He was a terrific player at VCU. He won a lot at VCU. He was part of some big-time teams. And, I said this earlier today, I think Briante as a defensive player, what he's been able to do, it's a perfect marriage with our style of play. That's why he's been able to break the record or he's close to breaking the record in such a small amount of games. It's because, number one, he's as quick and as energetic as any defender out there, and then number two, the way we play, he's in position a lot of times to go after some balls.
And I know a lot of people and a lot of the fans who saw Rolando play, he had a much different body type than Bree does. He was a little longer. I know Rodney Ashby was saying he reminds me more of Jared Guest than he does of Briante Weber.
Well, there's different ways to get steals. You can get steals on the ball, you can get steals off the ball. I would bet I didn't see Rolando Lamb play at VCU, but I would guess he ran through a lot of passing lanes and did a lot of stuff coming from the weak side and getting steals. Briante, pressuring on the ball, getting his hands on the basketball as guys are trying to break the press, coming from behind guys and surprising guys. It's one of those things that when we watched him in recruiting, we knew that he was a guy that was going to have a knack for taking the ball from people. We didn't know that he would break a record like this so fast, but I tell you what, Greg, I usually don't I usually don't pat myself on the back, but I do have to say, with both he and Trey, I predicted 2 records, and one of them is going to go down really soon, and then the other one,
it's trending that way.
We're in range, so those guys, it makes you feel good to see guys progress the way you hope they would.
But when you're making these predictions, it's not just the physical traits you see, right? It's the
no,
mental.
Man,
that's what really pushes it over the edge for
I think the physical stuff gets you in the door. You know, a friend of mine, Brendan Sir, who's a longtime NBA assistant coach, he always would say, talent is the price of admission. So that gets you in the door. And then from there, it's what type of mental makeup do you have? How much competitiveness do you have? How much toughness do you have? How do you deal with coaching? That's a big one. I mean, it seems simple, but some guys have a really hard time getting coached and getting constructively criticized.
Great stuff. This is a question we got on Twitter, and I've actually gotten from a bunch of people the last couple of weeks. They wanted to know what you thought. Everybody's loves the new warm-ups. I don't know how new they are. They've been around for a while, but the new warm-ups and how they look, and the guys out there, I don't know if that's something you play a role in ever.
You know, I have no role in that. I came out to the court the other day. I don't know, it was a couple weeks ago when the guys first started wearing them, and they had them on, and I said, "Oh, okay, those are nice." So that's it. That was the first that I had seen of them. But I think they look good. You know,
guys love gear. I mean, they love new gear, man.
Guys love gear, and Jesse Bopp is our director of basketball operations. He does a terrific job with our guys and with gear with our guys. So, if they feel good about what they're wearing and they're excited, then that's half the battle.
Jesse's not going to order neon gear, is he?
No.
Okay.
That's just for him. That he wears that stuff, but not for the guys.
Last question here is we got a question on Twitter again, #SmartShow. Is they want to know on a regular basis, do you get a lot of advice, unsolicited advice from non-basketball people? And I mean coaches, people that have been in the game. Do you get a lot of, hey, coach, you know what you should do? You need to get the ball to Trey more. Hey, coach, you think about getting it down on the block to Jew?
There's no question. I get a lot of that. And, the thing is, it's a very, very public profession. And, but the public side is only part of the profession. There's a lot of things that we do that the fans and the media don't see, and but obviously what we're judged on is game night and how well your team does, and certainly understand that. I had a guy right after the game last night that was telling me all about what we should have done differently on offense. So I mean it's just part of it. I don't think it's something you take personally. I've been at 6 different schools as an assistant or head coach, and I think the schools that have the best fans, they have the most opinionated fans too, and that's just kind of how it goes. But I think for us, we just need to remember as coaches what our job is, and that's to move our guys forward and to prepare them the best we possibly can for what they need to do on and off the court. We watch a lot of tape. Our coaches spend a ton of time in preparation, so we're not just coming in and making stuff up. Sometimes, obviously, certain things work better than other things, but we're certainly going to continue to work hard to put our guys in good position.
There's no question about it. Was any of your coaching mentors particularly good at that, just blocking out the noise?
Billy Donovan is probably the best I've been around. He's just unbelievable at just locking in on one thing and not letting anything impact him, anything that's said around him. I mean, he just puts blinders on better than anyone I've ever been around. Just, he just has no awareness, no knowledge of what anyone is saying or anyone is doing, and in a good way, I mean.
Right.
Just really focusing on his team. And, his big thing, and this is something that I need to do a better job of, is he talks all the time about making sure, first and foremost, he has himself personally, mentally, emotionally, spiritually in the ideal place to be the best he can be. And I really appreciate that about him, because he says, over the course of a long season, I'm not going to be able to do the best job that I can do coaching these guys and putting these guys in the right position if I'm not where I need to be.
Right.
And I think sometimes coaches neglect their own, eating habits and working out and, whatever it is you do as kind of a hobby or a family time, because literally the job can be a 24-hour-a-day job if you let it.
Well, you talk a lot about the process and having that routine. Are you saying you need to stick to your routine? Because I feel like you're really good at kind of staying to your schedule and your routine.
I think that, certain things, we just about a month ago had New Year's. And I think, at the turn of the new year, you always say, hey, these are the things, at least I do, these are the things that are really important to me. And, I always set my intentions for the year. And it's really important to go back to those and remember what you said was important and remind yourself.
Great stuff. We're going to take a quick timeout, come back, talk about Saturday's showdown at the Siegel Center. You're listening to the Shaka Smart Radio Show, live from Home Team Grill and the Fan on ESPN 950.
Have you been dreaming about a new deck, screen, porch, or room addition? Make it happen by calling Addedec.
I research and collect quotes. Those provide me with motivation, inspiration. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. John Keats said that. To grow, you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. To give anything less than your best is to sacrifice your gift. Do you have the propensity to be motivated from within? That's my version of making it real.
Here you go, Joey. You received your VCU alumni discount.
Rodney, you ready for the big game tonight?
Oh, I'm sorry, Rodney. The discount's only for VCU alumni members.
Man, it's alright. Let's go blow off some steam at the gym. Come on. Keep pushing, Rodney. I need one more rep from you. There you go.
Hey, you with the horns. Do you have your VCU alumni membership? Ram Nation, don't let this happen to you. Join VCU alumni today.
Look closely. Do you see a classroom? A lab? A studio? We do. At Virginia Commonwealth University, learning happens everywhere. Where will you make it real?
While Campbell was discovering what she wants to be when she grows up, Nurse Kathy was discovering ways to make sure leukemia never keeps her from being a kid. Children's Hospital of Richmond at VCU, discovering the best care for kids.
And I'm judged, obviously, in the media by wins and losses. I understand that, but that's not my number one goal. My number one goal is to help our guys be the best they can be, and by the time they get out of here, really realize the potential that they have. If we do that with each one of our players, then winning's going to take care of itself. That's how I make it real. All right, what's next?
At Virginia Commonwealth University, research happens everywhere. From classrooms without walls to a campus without borders. All you have to do is jump in. VCU, make it real.
VCU stand up. You don't wanna go to war with the Rams. Join a group bigger than the Wu-Tang Clan. VCU alumni is key to victory. Gold has more benefits than Richmond has history. $25 is all it takes. Represent the Rams across the states. Discounts, pride, the benefits are stacked. Rolling with the Peppers, yeah, that's where it's at. Membership, that's the move. Build a Ram Nation, it's up to you.
research and collect quotes. Those provide me with motivation, inspiration. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. John Keats said that. To grow, you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. To give anything less than your best is to sacrifice your gift. Do you have the propensity?
Greg Coach and the rest of the Ram Nation for more of the show.
Big one coming up on Saturday, a nationally televised game at 11 a.m. And once again, I want to encourage everyone to get there early. Get up, have breakfast, plenty of coffee, and get to the Siegel Center early because there will be some influential eyes watching to see if that atmosphere is lives up to the reputation. It's got a darn good reputation.
Great reputation, and we've sold out 45 consecutive games, which we're so fortunate for, and we're so appreciative of. And now great opportunity here against Richmond. They've got a really good team. Just beat top 15 team in UMass less than a week ago, and they're coming to our place. We'll go back there later in the season. It's always a great rivalry game, and we'll be excited for the game.
You watched their game against St. Louis. Did you watch it last night or this morning?
Yes, I watched it early this morning.
Yeah, what was that? A poor effort by Richmond? Was it just that St. Louis is
not at all.
good?
I don't think it was a poor effort at all. I think it was. First of all, in the second half, they played them even. I mean, they played really aggressive basketball in the second half and did some good things. The trouble was the first half was pretty similar to our first half at St. Louis last year.
Right.
It was just, that St. Louis came out really aggressively, hit some shots early, had a lot of plays going their way, a lot of aggressiveness. Some shots didn't go down for Richmond that have before, and I think Richmond's a really good team with two really dynamic guards, and that's where that team starts, and so we've got to do a good job on those guys. Those guys have played well against us, and our perimeter players have quite a task on their hands defending Anthony and Lindsey.
Yeah, what makes those guys special? I mean, Lindsey's kind of the guy that leads it, but Kendall Anthony has certainly stepped up here.
Yeah, I mean the way that he's been scoring since he got there. I mean he's been putting up really good numbers. I think the first thing with those guys is quickness. I mean they have really good quickness. They have good poise. They don't get rattled. They do a really good job striking the balance between running their stuff. I mean, obviously they have a lot of Princeton concepts in what they do, but then in also taking opportunities when they can to rip the ball on a drive or pull up for three or obviously come off of ball screens, which they do a lot.
Yeah, talk a little bit about the rest of those players. I know they have some guys some young guys that have big bodies and athletic types, and certainly can certainly get going.
Well, they have Derek Williams, who's been around and is a big, strong, active, big guy that can shoot the ball too, and is smart and good in their system. And then after him, they've got a bunch of younger big guys that are really improving. Three guys that are sophomores in Allen, Taylor, and Nelson Adota that played a lot of minutes last year as freshmen, got a lot of experience, a lot of winning experience, played a lot against us, made some really good plays, all three of those guys, and they're getting better and better. So, that's what you want in your program. You want some guys that have been around like they have, but then you want some young guys that are getting better.
And listening over the last couple of days, I think there's this perception that because you're 7 miles away, you know each other better. But would you know them any better than any other A-10 opponent?
A little bit, just because we played twice a year and we played them before we were in the A-10. So, the other teams in the A-10, we've really only played once last year and then maybe once so far this year. So there's a little bit more familiarity because we've played Richmond every year that I've been here, but not the same that we would have if we would have played them twice a year over the last 5-10 years like there was with Old Dominion, for that stretch there. But somebody asked me about the rivalry earlier. It certainly, I think, has heated up because we're in the same league again, and hopefully that stays the same, and hopefully the rivalry will continue to heat up.
11 a.m. tip, and you told a great story this morning about how you made the 12 noon start time up in Philly sort of a point of emphasis for a few guys on the team who enjoy their rest, and the importance of not just waking up but getting up and getting going.
Yeah, there's a difference between getting out of bed and really getting up and getting going. And I think anytime you're playing an early game, whether it's noon at LaSalle last Saturday or 11 at home here this Saturday, you've got to get going and get yourself up, get your mind going, thinking about the game, thinking about what you're going to do, and get ready to play. And I thought our guys did a good job of that last weekend. We reminded them, we showed them some clips of the Navy SEAL stuff that we do early in the morning in the off season and in the preseason, and that's like 5:30, 6 in the morning. So, hey guys, if you can jump in the James River in cold water at 6 in the morning, then playing a basketball game at noon or at 11 should be no problem.
Want to remind everybody once again, if you haven't already today, to go to voteshaka.com and vote for Coach Smart in the ESPN Infinity Charity Coaches Challenge. Coach, the votes are starting to pile up for you. I know the Ram fans are making it part of every day. You can vote once a day. And, of course, as always, Coach, playing for the Friends Association of Richmond, trying to make sure we can.
I believe we already advanced
to the second round.
Yeah, to the second round. So we just want to keep advancing, Greg. It's different this year in that each round that you get to, your chosen cause gets an added amount of money. So we're appreciative to all the people that have voted and will continue to vote. You can vote once a day, every day. They seem to have some type of voting machine up in Columbus.
We'll have to unplug some computers up there.
But if we can just continue to gain some momentum, you never know what can happen.
Great stuff. Once again, voteshaka.com. You can vote once a day and pass it along, voteshaka.com. Again, one final mention to make sure you get there early for the 11 a.m. tip early on Saturday, as VCU is going to be on. And again, Robbie brought this up.
I'll give you another reason to get there early, Greg. I can't tell you who it's going to be, all right, but we will have another. We had Joey the other day. We'll have another special guest doing the Papa John's shootout. So I think it'll be kind of like it was with Joey. It'll be entertaining. It'll be something you're going to want to be in your seat.
I like that.
Watching or standing up when that happens.
I love that. And it's a blackout, so make sure you put on those black T-shirts that you have there. And, it's going to be a captive audience. There's no other games on TV at 11 a.m.
No, that's kind of the neat thing about playing at that time. And there's a game every weekend, every Saturday at 11. But you're literally the only game on TV, at least for an hour. And then there's a couple games that start at noon. But, there's going to be a lot of people watching. And, hey, listen, if you come to college to play basketball, this is why. I mean, this is what you come for, to play a rivalry game on your home floor, national TV, everybody watching, and, we're excited about it.
We'll see you Saturday.
Thanks, Greg.
How about a big round of applause for head coach Shaka Smart? That's going to wrap up the show. We'll see everybody Saturday at the Siegel Center. For Coach Smart, I'm Greg Burton. This is the Shaka Smart Radio Show, live from Home Team Grill and the Fan on ESPN 950.
We're here with Dr. Alex Hawkins of Hawkins Family Dentistry.